Everyone, what's up? This is Big Said returning once again. Is this my first one this year? This might be my first one this year, actually. No, wait. No, I did. I can't remember. But this will be my best one for this year so far. How about that?
Good point. I like that.
Everyone, this is Big Said. If this is your first time here, welcome to My Friends Are Better Than Yours. I have been doing things for a couple of years now, and I would do like celebrity interviews and things of that nature. But I'm sick of everybody. But I feel that if I'm going to do something, let me big up my friends and people that I'm like that are doing things that I feel you should know about because you might not know, or if you know, you might not know what they've done recently. So I've started this series, and I'm continuing it again. And today we have Coach Simone Kelly. I can't even remember when or how we met. I just know it was like 30 years ago. And I know it was in New York, but I will allow you to introduce yourself and then we will take it from there.
Okay. Well, I think I know. I think I know we met through Stephen and Felicia. That's my guess. Does that ring a bell?
I mean, it's possible. I'm like, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
I can't remember either. And we're both getting old. But
right?
Hey everybody, I'm Coach Simone Kelly. I'm an author, a life coach, intuitive life coach, let's be clear. And I'm also a Reiki master. And I'm originally from Bronx, New York, but I'm right now in Costa Rica.
The Bronx.
Yes.
I'm trying to look at this thing. I don't know how I lost it, but
what?
Everything. My mind.
My email. You want me to re-email it to you?
No. I'm talking about where I had it on the computer because, like I said, I have my laptop on the side, and then
okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, so welcome to My Friends Are Better Than Yours. I haven't literally spoken to you, really talked to you, and that's another reason why I love doing this because a lot of people that I am talking to on the show are people I have kept in touch, but we haven't caught up.
Right.
Doing this gives me a chance to actually catch up while also allowing my audience to see who it is that I'm talking to and the reason why I would want to talk to them. And like I said, I see like about 900 postings on WhatsApp like every day from you, and a lot of things.
Stop lying! I'm on Instagram more than WhatsApp.
About like where I see some of the things that you're doing because when you list status and things of that nature, and
right.
And I want to apologize for what you saw the last time when I reached out to you.
I don't even remember what it was. I just know you always have something snarky to say.
It has to do with your last name.
Say that again?
It has to do with your last name.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Anyway, so yeah, okay. You know what? Okay. My notes says I have it now. You've done a number of things over the years, and if I'm correct, when we first met, you were doing publicity, right? Publicity? No.
I had a marketing company. I branded myself as a marketing coach back then.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew it was something along those lines because it's being at different networking events, and like you said, Steve and Felicia. And speaking of Steve and Felicia, they go to my mother's church. It's still my church, but I haven't been there like 90 years.
I have a feeling that's how I met you, but it could have been that one. The music industry, the music. Because remember, I used to work at RCA Records and at BMG, so I don't know.
I can't remember.
Have so many friends.
I can't remember what I ate at 1:00, let alone what I did 30 years ago. So anything's possible. But I remember you used to always follow me to my parties. Not least now.
No, but I do have a good memory of you. You actually helped me do my going away party when I left New York.
Yeah, and that was about
2004, 2005. That's when I got married.
That long ago?
Now divorced. Yes. Wow, that was 20 years ago, yo.
15 years ago.
And the grill. It was at the grill.
Yeah, because I've been in the grill for like 90 years.
I piggyback. Well, I would follow you. I used to piggyback your parties with my parties. You know, remember I used to do I think I did give and take at your event, something like that. We used to cross promote a lot together. So yeah. So everybody's representing each other. That's how we do.
Yeah. So you left New York to get away from the greatest city in the world, and of course you got a life change, and you did what you did. What okay, let's go back to the Bronx because we're both from the Bronx.
Okay.
Like growing up in the Bronx, and what part of the Bronx did you grow up in?
Gun Hill Road by the 5 train near the Valley.
So you're Jamaican. And,
Yep, pretty much. You got that right.
like that neighborhood like 97%
But
Jamaican.
growing up, it wasn't. Believe it or not, we were the second black family on my block. I have friends who are their parents were Italian and speak English.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah. So it was. It
Yeah,
was.
but
And I
as
have
you
Puerto Rican too. Puerto Rican and
Puerto
Puerto
Rican
Rican
all
and
over the
Italian.
Bronx, so yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what got me to, I guess, be able to mix with everybody because I have friends from all backgrounds. That's New
Yeah,
York.
I grew up in the Soundview area, so it's like mostly black, Spanish, and like
Hmm.
everything else. But what was it about not necessarily growing up in the Bronx, but growing up in the way that you grew up that made you want to become an entrepreneur? Because we're basically trained to go to school, go to college, and then get a job. But it seems like, when we started coming up, more of us branched off into entrepreneurship. Not to say that it wasn't going on before, but more of us, we had to go work. But at the same time, it's like, well, I want to run my own company.
Right, right. Well, funny enough, as a kid, my dad was an architect. He worked for himself, and all my uncles had their own businesses. So I grew up around entrepreneurs. My mom was the working a 9 to 5, and
She was the black sheep.
she
No,
was an accountant. She was what?
she was the black sheep.
Yeah, yeah, she exactly. Um, so yeah, she used to always be like, when you gonna get a real job? When you gonna get a real job? I mean, this is after I worked in corporate America and worked at HBO and all that stuff. But then when I started doing my own business, it was always like, she didn't take it serious, you know what I mean? Until she started to see people really like my books or liked what I was doing. She was like, okay, maybe you are doing something. But I started young as an entrepreneur. From third grade, I always tell people this story how my mom made copies of a book I wrote. It was really like a coloring book because I used to know how to draw really well. And it was a short story, and she made illegal copies at work. And I was selling them for 10 cents under the table in the back of the class in third grade.
Both of y'all illegal. Look at you. Look at both of
Yeah,
you.
I was a hustler.
That's that's funny because like just thinking about like back then when having the Xerox machines and people doing things that they're not supposed to do for work and they do it for.
She was so proud of me that I did. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna make you some copies," and I think I put 10 cents in the corner, like a little circle, and then I brought them to school, and everybody was buying them for me. I was like,
It's a good start. But
"Yeah,
why did you choose? Why did you choose marketing as opposed to anything else? Because I know like publicity, like there's so many things that kind of like on the same but different lanes
right."
try to get the same results. So why marketing?
Honestly, originally I wanted to be a producer for commercials because as a kid I was very creative. The tape recorder was my playmate. I grew up as an only child. Even I have two brothers, but they were different mothers. So I would make stories on the tape recorder with my friends. I would make up commercials. I was very very creative, and so I wanted to produce commercials. And then I joined American, what was it called? American Women of, I forget the name of the organization. New York Women of Advertising. It was something like some advertising organization. I can't remember right now. So long ago. And when I went to some of the workshops, I was like learning about how much money they were making as producers. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Because you had to go to film school. And at that time, I didn't have any interest in that. So then I figured my next plan B would be marketing, And then I also had a family member that was in marketing, a cousin in Jamaica. And she was telling me about it. And I was like, that's kind of in the same realm. So I went to LIU for marketing, for business administration, and focus on marketing and advertising.
Yeah, it's funny because I was about to say that I know like with a lot of people that we came up with, a lot like me as a writer, I've never taken a journalism class. Never. My editor reminds me every now and then. But anyway, but I've also realized that a lot of people that have started their own business or started to work for themselves were doing things that they weren't, I don't want to say trained, but like,
It comes naturally, yeah.
yeah. So, and I guess sometimes we have it in us. I didn't set out to be a writer or like, I was supposed to be like the second coming of Michael Jackson. And, that was shot down at like 12, 13. So, but even now, when I had like we were talking off camera when I just interviewed Shaq, and he said the same thing as far as like education. Because like when he went to the NBA, he's already a millionaire, but he went back and got his doctorate and all these other degrees. But he said that he also has people on his team that don't have college degrees, but they're the best at what they do. And
Right,
like he had to change his mind of education isn't necessarily going to school and getting a diploma or a degree. It's
right,
basically educating yourself from what you're doing so that way you can be the best at what you are.
right. Exactly.
And I just find it amazing that we've chosen a path. Well, I've chosen a path that I wasn't even expecting to pursue, but as you were, I guess, starting to do what you wanted to do as far as with your company, like, did you have any, being not only a black woman, but being in a male dominated field, so to speak, like, were there any nervousness or was there any hesitation on your part? Because like, my mother told me and my brother one thing when we was growing up. You have two strikes against you. You're black and you're poor. Not that you were poor, but I'm just saying, but the things that are against you, like, did that did that make you did that fuel you to do things that you wanted to do? Like how was it when you were coming up and having to basically go out on your own to make your own money without having the cushion of having a 9 to 5? But then again, if you didn't have a 9 to 5, because some of us we had
I
9 to
had
5.
I had a 9 to 5 when I started my business right out of college, but I can give you a little backstory.
Of course.
I had he ain't gonna like it, but too bad. An ex boyfriend of mine who was a rapper, and he had a record label, and so I was helping him promote his business. And that it was like fun for me. But he kept saying, "I'm gonna give you 10%. I'm gonna give you 20." First, it was 25%. Then it was 10%. The percentages kept changing, and then I pretty much helped create his marketing plan. He had like a bunch of artists. It was like a mini bad boy, I would say, but it didn't blow up to that. Um, and he ended up getting a big what we call it, a big investor from a black expo that I helped do a lot of the marketing for, and I never saw a dime of that money.
Yeah.
Never a dime. He would buy me stuff, but that it still was always like promises. So that fueled me to say, okay, I'm not gonna keep doing stuff for free. And people will literally say, Simone, she was the brains behind the operation. That was the joke with all his homeboys. So my first company was called Gots to Have It Marketing.
Yeah.
And it was like a joke. I was like, I got to have it. I got to have my own. So it was kind of like a vengeful kind of thing. And then I started to have a lot of clients that were in the music industry because I used to, like I said, I worked in the music industry for like 5 years prior to that. And I interned through my whole college years at BMG. And so I said, I'm gonna start my own business, and nobody's gonna take nothing from me again. And that's how it started. So, but I
And
always had my business on the side, and then it evolved into. Oh, I will get to that, I guess.
is he doing? Is he still in the industry?
Yeah, he actually just texted me today, funny enough,
Oh, okay.
but not like that, like just with friends. But
No, 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 no. I just meant as far as like
I'll tell you when we get off the phone.
Yeah, okay.
I know you want the tea.
I'm not going to do or say anything that like,
Look, I'll send him the link. He'll see this. He already know. I literally thank him because you know how they say some of the things that you went through that you looked at as a
yeah.
hardship. It's a lesson, and I look at it like if he didn't push me to be taken advantage of, I would have never started my business.
Well, that's funny because that's one of the questions I was going to ask as far as like difficulties, because everybody always sees the success or the happiness in everybody's career. And I know for a fact, because I've had ups and downs, definitely more downs than ups.
Right,
But, if you look at my history of what I've done, you wouldn't think that. And I know for a fact that, based on what I've done, that, and especially with the people that I know and seeing some people, like, how do you bounce back? Because I don't know how many times you've failed at something or didn't get whatever you thought that you thought. We all think that we should get what we want at the
right,
time,
right, right.
and don't appreciate it until we go through the hardships. What was, how did it feel or how did it feel when things didn't go as planned, or if they did go as planned and it went down? Like, how did you bounce back? I think the bounce back is the most important thing. If you can't
Yeah.
bounce, it doesn't matter. So, I wanted to pose that in a different way, but
No, I get it. I get it. No, it's funny because I just thought about one of my friends. She always says when things that I have gone through, she's like, how have you went through that and you still have a smile on your face, or you're still so positive, or and I always look at it like I have alternatives. Like, I look at what I'm grateful for. I'm still alive. I'm still healthy. I have friends. I have connections, and I always try to look at, okay, what can I do to make this better? And I just take baby steps to make my way back out of that hole that I got into. So I'll give you an example. I had a period of my life where this is around like 2008, remember when everything went to hell with the mortgages and everybody, it was a bad time. And I remember I had a client that I was chilling pretty much, because I was pretty much doing everything that I do for my business for them. And it was literally using my brand. I would copy paste, put on their website, and I'd be done by 12 o'clock, and I'm chilling. So I got too comfortable because I didn't have my backup. I wasn't like hustling to get clients, because it was a nice paycheck, and it was, work for another company doing what I like to do. And then they went bankrupt. And yeah, they went bankrupt, and my next check I got from them was $12. I'll never forget that shit. And at this time, my ex-husband lost his job, so it was tight, 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 tight. And at this point, I had already marketed myself pretty much. So when people Google me, they think I'm famous. So when I tried to find a job, it was like, oh, she's not going to stay here. Oh, this is beneath you. You're not going to, people would never want to hire me. So it was really hard. So I had to really focus and say, okay, I got to ask for help. And eventually I got like a consulting job that turned into a part-time job that I hated for 2 years. But, I did that and then built my way back out and started my business that I'm doing now.
I've gone through the
Yeah, you're famous.
My job if I hire you scenarios, and there's some people that's just like so insecure. Like, do your job and you'll be fine, because I'm gonna do my
Well,
job.
yeah, they think you're gonna take their job too. That's another thing. Yeah, they're like, oh, she got too much accolades. She's gonna be famous, and she knows more than me, or that kind of thing. You got that too. So whatever.
I've worked at places where the reason why they hire me is the reason why they want to get rid of me. They don't get rid of me because I'm doing anything wrong. They
Right.
want to fire me because they know that I'm a go-getter. I'm going to do what I do.
Right.
The fact that I don't need them to do what I do, because a lot of people are so insecure as supervisors or whatever, that
Mm-hmm.
if you don't need them to get your work done, they feel a certain way. And when
Right.
I talk to those people, I'm looking at them like, I'm doing exactly what you wanted me to do.
Right.
Especially when it comes to being in entertainment. Because when I started doing what I was doing, I always knew people. People always knew me. So as a writer, if I can get my own interviews and I don't need
Right.
that, then you could be bettering your situation with other people instead of worried about why I don't need you. And then I'm bringing the biggest artists or the biggest executives. And this applies because I don't want anybody looking at this like, well, is he talking about? I'm talking about 4 or 5 of you, and if you're looking, you understand it is what it is. But it's never stopped me, and I'm not gonna say I've left jobs because of, like, not because I wasn't doing what I do. I even had a particular job where I really feel like mentioning his name because I don't care, but I'm not gonna do that. But
Don't do it. I'm like this. Tell me later.
but like, he tried to make my job so difficult, and I became better at what I was doing to a point where he got rid of me on some bullshit that had nothing to do with anything. But I'm looking at him like, you know what? If you're that scared of me, I'll just leave. I'm like, I don't need the stress of you. Like I come to work and I got to worry about like what you're trying to do, trying to pin more work on me, and then like my numbers actually went up, and it's like, what
Wow.
can you say?
Like
But
spitefulness.
yeah, but anyway,
I don't miss corporate America at all. Lord.
yeah, I mean,
You were getting ready to ask me something related to that. I'm trying to remember what I was going to tell you.
like I said, I forget my name
It
sometimes.
was it was some okay. It was something related to like how was it being a black woman?
Oh yeah. As far as like whatever, we all have barriers placed in front of us, especially when we don't want that. So, like you said, being into a male-dominated, well, more specifically, especially when it comes to entertainment, white male-dominated, and
Yeah.
coming in as a black female independent, how are you able to navigate through the waters in order to overcome whatever you had to overcome and then be successful at what you were doing while people trying to either push you out or move you out the way?
I had some instances, not that much. I really haven't had that much trouble with that. I gotta be honest. I've had instances, not just being a black woman, but being the only black person at a company, where I had to deal with a little bit of like racial, not like in your face racism, like the little snarky comments and things like that I'd have to like blow off. But it used to piss me off. Like, hey Simone, what's going on with Tupac and
Yeah.
Biggie? Like they want are the Crips and the Bloods still fighting? Like this type of question people would ask me. Like I'm like, or somebody actually touched my hair one day when I had straight hair, and oh, it's so soft. I didn't know. So things like that, and I would like, I almost said his name, but I remember, and he would be like, now that you're leaving, can we date? And I'm like, no, you need to get some black friends. I would make a joke out of whatever they were saying. I would just blow it off, but it was uncomfortable. I'm gonna be honest. Like it was, and then not only that, what would bother me the most, as far as being a black woman, if I would say something in a meeting, like an idea, I would say, hey, we should do X, Y, and Z, and then they would ignore it, and then my white counterpart, female, she would say it, and they would, oh my God, that's brilliant, and I'm like, I just said that 2 minutes ago. So that kind of stuff used to like irk the hell out of me, but um, I honestly wasn't the angry black woman that they wanted me to be, so I just would blow stuff. I'm too happy-go-lucky, to be quite honest, so it didn't really bother me. And as far as being with men in the music industry, now that's a whole nother, or entertainment, I would say. Yeah, I had my moments of like sexual misconduct, I would call it that, or like little comments that people would say, but nothing ever bad that where I have to join the Me Too movement, nothing like that. But but I've had some things said to me, and I'm like, excuse me. Like I had a manager that one time I came into his office, he was like, "Damn, Simone, you built like a stallion." And I'm just like, here's the information for the meeting. And I'm just like, thank you. Like they don't give a crap in the music industry or entertainment industry, right? There's no barriers.
Especially back then.
Back then, yeah. This is like late '90s,
That was
early
a
2000s.
pre-Me Too movement. Yeah.
Say that again. This is before the Me Too movement.
That was
Yeah,
a pre-Me Too movement. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think I'm very optimistic, and I let things blow off. I don't really, nothing really phases me too much. I have thick skin, so I don't think it really was affected my career per se.
Well, let's get more specific as far as own your power communications, because actually, why don't you let people know? I mean, we've been talking for a couple of minutes, but um, I don't even know if they actually know what you do. So
Okay.
yeah, why don't you, like we could go
I
everywhere.
know, right? They're like, who is this chick? All right. Well, actually, let me kind of backtrack. So you kind of get the history. So as I said, my background is marketing. That's how I started. I started off working in the music industry, entertainment industry, and really .coms industry. And back in 2000 and what was it? I guess 2000 and when did I start doing all this stuff? 2005, 3 is when I really started doing coaching, calling myself a coach. It was more like a life coach, certified life coach. But like in the early 2000s is when I started to really hone in on my intuitive gifts. I've always been intuitive all my life. I used to see things all the time, hear things all the time, think I was crazy. I never used to tell people about it. And in 2007, I officially started getting training. And I mean, I should backtrack. There's a reason why. So I used to have like a lot of prophetic dreams. And one of the dreams I had, I told my cousin about it, and it was numbers in the dream. She played the numbers and won $10,000. And I said, okay, I think I need to take a class or something because this is crazy. Things like that kept.
I remember right now.
I mean, you want the story behind it? It's a little spooky, but I'll tell you. All right, so basically, this is when I was married, and in the dream, this 2007, yeah. So there's a reason why I'm telling you that. In the dream, I was on a tour bus. I was famous. I was a famous author in the dream, and at that time, I think I only had like maybe 1 or 2 books out. And an ex-boyfriend of mine was outside the tour bus, holding up a gift. And all of my, why he out there? He know you married, like it was like one of those like girlfriend dreams. So then, but then I saw the gift, and it was a black granite bracelet. Weird, right? and it said 5707. Don't play the number. It's not gonna work now. and and then it said I miss you on the bracelet. And then so that was that, right? So I didn't think nothing of it. And then I woke up in the morning and it was literally over in my head, 5707, 5707. I kept hearing the number and I was like, I guess I gotta call him and ask him what the hell this number means, because it gotta mean something. So, and me and him were cool. This is an ex of mine. We were cool, but we were like, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. Cool. You know, we didn't talk on a regular. So I called him and I was like, hey, does this, I just had this crazy dream about you, but I didn't tell him every detail because then he'd be like, oh, you trying to kick it? Talking about, I miss you, you know? So I just told him, hey, do you know anything about this number? And he got really quiet. And I was like, what does the number mean? And he was like, it's the day my mother died. Not the year, the day. And I was like, okay, that's a little spooky. You know, so I was like, you know, we both were like, that's weird. Blew it off. I told my cousin the dream, and she plays the freaking number. Then I called him back to tell him, and he was like, yo, I thought about playing it myself. And so that's how it all started. Then at the time, I had met my mentor, who was a medium, psychic medium, and I told her to read about the dream. I said, can you find out what this dream meant? Because this was like so weird to us, like how my cousin won the money. And I feel like there was something behind it. She proceeds, this is spooky, so just be prepared. She proceeds to tell me, as she's giving me the reading, she starts talking to somebody in the room. There's nobody there. And she's like, no, baby. She's French Canadian lady. She's like, no, baby, Simone is married. No, leave her. No. She's like talking to somebody. And I said, who are you talking to? His mother, the guy's mother that passed away. So she came to me in the dream because she wanted me to call him. And when I tell you, when I called him back to tell him, he believed. He was like, that was my mom's. Because in the dream, I mean, in the reading, the lady told me the mother was mad that there were too many people in her house. She was like, all these people in my house, his wife don't treat him good. I want Simone to be with him. It was a whole big thing. And I'm just like blown away, like, this is crazy, because his mother, died years before. So I call him and tell him, and he's like, yo, there's like 9 people in my house. Like, he was like, his wife, the daughter, the baby, the cousin. It was like mad people. So everything lined up to the story. So I was like, this is crazy. And around that time is when that lady became my teacher. She started teaching classes. And because she was like kind of old school, she was doing readings, but she was like getting tape cassettes mailed in the mail. She was getting checks in the mail. And I'm the marketing genius compared to her. So I got her on PayPal. I got her blog set up. I got her like digitized, and then from that, I got free classes. So I was taking all her classes and I got really, really good, to the point I became one of her top students. And that's where it all blew. It all went crazy after that. But yeah, that's the start of it. It's a crazy ass story, but that's how it all started.
So what is the premise of what you do?
Oh, okay. I should back.
I know you speak specifically to entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
let me say primarily, not specific.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, that's how I started off. My company started off focusing on entrepreneurs, and then my podcast was targeting people trying to leave their 9-to-5 to start a business. That's how my base started. And then I did Give and Take networking event. I did that for 18 years. So that's another thing I skipped over, but that was a big part of my brand that grew, because I was doing events in 5 cities and I had a whole team. But because of that, I had a nice following already. So when I morphed into what I do now, it wasn't that hard, because all of my things that I talk about and, workshops I did were all about spirituality, about being grounded, yoga, meditation. I mixed it in with the business. So a lot of my audience are spiritual entrepreneurs, if you want to say that. The majority of them are. And what I started teaching back in, I was like 2007, 2008 is when I started doing readings and I called it intuitive life coaching, because people were too spooked out when I called it readings. Now I don't care. But I was very secretive with it. I didn't tell nobody. It was a secret. Like, it was literally a blog page that had my face wasn't on it. It was my last name wasn't on it. It was a secret. And only people that knew were clients. And then they would tell their friends. And then it was all like underground, friends of friends. And then in 2011, I went to Peru. It was either 2011 or 2012. I keep forgetting what year. 2011, I think. I went to Peru and went to a spiritual retreat. with shamans, and that just changed my life because they actually were telling me, you're hiding your gift, stop hiding it, share your gift with other people. And then so when I came back, I started doing trainings on how to develop your intuition. So that way I wasn't as scared anymore because I was like, look, you can do it too. Because I was training people to do exactly what I do. They didn't have to like open up a business, but it just helped you develop your intuition so that it can help you in your daily life because it's a gift we all have. And I like teaching. I like teaching and I like writing about it so that it helps demystify the whole, oh, it's spooky, you're a witch, it's evil, because it's not. You know what I mean?
Understandable. So that's where the now there are people out there that don't know what a life coach is because that's what you are, right?
Yes,
That's one of your roles.
yes, that is one of my roles. But like I combine the two. Like I said, the intuition with the life coaching. So it's not like a typical reading. If somebody calls me, oh, I want to get a session with you. It's not like, oh, I don't do tarot cards. I'm not. I meditate, but I'll help you with whatever area in your life you need help with. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of people call me for relationships. They call me for work related stuff. I have a lot of realtors clients, believe it or not, because I do remote viewing. So I can literally go to your house and not be in your house, like, and look at the property. So I do a lot of out there stuff.
I mean, that's what I was asking as far as like from because the thing with any type of title is going to come with what people's perception of it is going to be.
Right.
That's the reason why I pose the question in that way because I know it's more than what it sounds, but also to give people an idea of what is incorporated, either between in whatever it is that you do. And when I say whatever it is that you do, I'm talking about like specifically you, so
Hmm.
that people can actually understand if they may want to reach out to you or figure out what it is that they're trying to do with their lives because that's how people look at
That's
life.
a good part too. Yeah, no, that there's a lot of people that call me for life purpose. Like they'll be like, well, what do you think I should be working on? What am I good at? What area? And I'll give them guidance on what direction to go in. And the difference between me and the typical, I would say, like person that calls himself a psychic or even a life coach is that I promote my people. Like I'll connect you. Like I'm a very big, just like you are. You're a connector. So once I see what you need help with, I'm gonna make sure I give you some phone numbers. I tell the people to reach out to you. You're not and you also get homework. I'm going to give you things to do that you need to work on. A lot of people have just some basic stuff, like as far as like organizing their days, having boundaries. A lot of people don't have boundaries. They're yes men or yes women, and they do everything for everybody else, and they put themselves last. So I'm very big on helping them structure their lives so that they can put themselves first and work on their dreams. And a lot of people that I work with have full-time jobs, children, husband, whatever. And I have male clients as well, but just trying to help them organize their life so that they're not living life with regrets. Like, damn, I wish I would have did that 10 years later.
Can intuition be developed?
Definitely. And actually, I just I wish we can insert videos in here. I just in my retreat, I just did a retreat in Costa Rica, and we had a sample of my course. I have a 4-week course that I teach online. And one of the exercises is I put them in a quick meditation, nothing even intense. So it's just like a few 20 to 30 deep breaths. And I put two people next to each other, back to back. One person is holding something in their hand, whether it's a book or some item, and the other person has to guess what it is. This girl got spot on. Basically, the person was holding a kitchen mitt, and it had cupcakes on it, like the drawings of cartoon cupcakes. And the first thing she says was, "I feel like I taste something sweet." And we're like, "Yeah, keep going." And she's like, "I want to put powder on it. Is it something from the kitchen?" And we're like, "Yeah, keep going." Like literally to the point where she said, Is it a cupcake?" And we all lost it and was screaming like the whole we woke up the whole hotel. Um, but like that for her was like confirmation. Like, how did I know how to do that? And I'm like, yeah, we all have this gift. Think about it like this. Said when the phone rings and who it is before you look at it, or what time it is before you look at the clock, or you go someplace and you feel something weird, like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go to this party. Something don't feel right. That's intuition. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done shows, podcasts with cops, and we talk about like when they feel something is not right. cops use the intuition, doctors use the intuition. Like we all use it in day to day, but a lot of us bypass it or just blow it off as a fluke or a one time thing. But you know,
So speaking of why is it called women's intuition and not men's?
we men have it too. That's just that's the thing. Men have it too.
No, no,
Um,
no. I've always thought that over the years because it's always women's intuition. It's like
I know, but
I can be intuitive
yeah.
sometimes. How come I don't have men?
The men, I have a lot of amazing male clients that I mean students that they are blown away like because the biggest thing that I teach really honestly is stop saying I don't know because when I tell them so guess what I'm holding and they're like I don't know it sounds I'm like don't say I don't know say the first thing that comes to mind like you have to catch yourself from judging that you think you're crazy and also you have to don't overthink things and pay attention to how you're getting the message. So you'll know when that happens again. It's like, I call it intuitive triggers. You know, whenever you get that message again right, you'll be like, okay, anytime that happens, anytime I get goosebumps, that's my sign of, oh, you're on the right track. And I'll give you one story that really started this. And because you probably were there. When I was about 18, 17, I think I was 17 or 18. Everybody, huh?
And
You probably were there. I'm guessing. We'll see.
I'm a little bit older,
It
so
was a celebrity basketball game that everybody was going to, and everybody was talking about it. And I wanted to go at first, but my stomach was churning and said, "Nope, don't go. It's gonna be too crowded. Do not go. It's gonna be too crowded." Me and my girlfriend ended up going to the movies. On the way back home in the taxi cab, we heard 9 people died.
yeah.
So that's Puffy's celebrity basketball game at City College. So that's what really made me say, "Oh, Simone, anytime your stomach does that, you better listen because that's a sign that it's something bad's gonna happen." So were you at that? Did
Yes.
you go there?
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends actually died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Um,
I know you were there. I knew it. Yeah, I
and,
was that close to going.
and what makes it, I'm not gonna say what makes it worse, but we had done a celebrity game a week before then at City College.
The same place.
Yeah, and I was the one that hooked Puff up with the school.
Oh my God.
It was kind of
Wow.
yeah. Just so many things that happened during that time that we couldn't say anything because of course it became a criminal case and all these other things.
Yeah.
And
Woo!
yeah,
Someone told me to bring it up on your show. I don't know why, but
I mean, it didn't affect me. Well, it affected me because I wasn't able to make any money because I was doing like celebrity games at least once a month, different cities.
wow.
Because I was working with Video Music Box, so it kind
Oh,
of
wow.
destroyed the money. Yeah, that's where I started with Video Music Box.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I knew that story.
I made that. I made them popular. But anyway,
Uh-oh.
yeah. No, let me stop. Big up to Ralphie Daniels. Always, great man. Tuffy. We grew up together. But,
Wait, you did something to your mic. Something sounds weird.
because I moved my phone and maybe I hit something as I move it. Does it feel better?
Yeah, because it was making a feedback sound.
Yeah, it may be because I have this thing. This mic picks up so well because, like I said, this is my first time using the mic, and I have my notes, and I'm like, I can hear myself shuffling. I don't know if you can hear that. But anyway, okay. What's the connection between creativity, intuition, and storytelling?
For me, it's helped me tremendously. I mean, all of my books that I've written, I would say not all of them, maybe.
Before you go into that, since you mentioned that, because that was another thing, because I know I'll forget. Why don't you tell people about the author aspect? Actually, no one knows. Say after, because like I said, I don't want to throw it off because when you said book, I was like, oh, mention that because I know it'll be
Well, I've been writing since I was, like I said, since I was a kid. But I would say I've written. My first book wasn't actually. It was fiction. My first book was fiction, but I didn't really promote it, and then it came out years later. But my first book that I promoted was called Jack of All Trades, Master of None, and that was a nonfiction book. It was kind of like it was more of a personal development book / marketing book. But then every book ever since that was fiction books. I self-published first, then I got a book deal with HarperCollins. Now I'm at Penguin Random House. But my next book I'm going to self-publish. But yeah, all my books are supernatural fiction.
Right?
Say that again?
This will be a seventh book, right?
Seventh
Seventh.
book, yeah, yeah. They're supernatural fiction, but the way I write is I always tell people because I can't tell your business and I get a lot of stories, I'll weave it into my books and I'll change your name obviously. But I also like to weave in intuitive things that have happened to me or intuitive things that I've heard of, so that people kind of think like they kind of realize, wow, this happened to me too, or they understand like, wow, I think I'm psychic too. I mean, literally, my first book I had with HarperCollins, I thank them for this. They had at the back of the book an interview with me of being intuitive and how can you develop your intuition. It was literally like a mini class in the back of the book. To show people that you have it, and I think that's what I've been blessed with is teaching people not to be afraid of their gift, Um, and all my books have a mystical side to it or a spirit, but they also have juicy sex in them too. So people like that too.
My sex is mystical, so let me stop. Oh,
What'd you say?
I said my sex is mystical, so I get it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom. Um,
Cool.
yeah, so I guess you could go back to what I asked about creativity, intuition, and something.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I would just say it when I do write, I have to kind of go into like meditation land or kind of like block people out a little bit and take my time to like go within. But I think what I wanted to share with you now, it's come back to me now, is that my book that I'm writing now was inspired by something that happened to me as a teenager, and it's kind of like a coming of age story. It's based. I always say it's based on some real life shit. That's what it says on the cover. But the whole book isn't true, true life. But there's definitely elements that actually happened to me. But there's a character in the book it's based on a ex boyfriend of mine who actually passed away, and I found some letters I had from him like that were buried in like a bunch of stuff. And recently, like, and because I kept saying I was going to write a book about it like over 20 years ago. And then I found the letter, and the letter actually, the letters, I should say, he was locked up, FYI. So, the when I found the letters, I got the hit to like, you gotta write about this. You gotta write a story about him. And and then one of his letters, if any girls had got any letters from dudes in jail back in the day, they would write songs out and stuff. So I'm telling my girlfriend this, like, oh, I'm gonna write a book about this story. And the song he wrote was "I'm Coming Back" by Layla Hathaway. I'm coming back to give you all my love. So I'm telling my friend the story about what I want to do. And as I'm talking to her on the phone, the song comes on YouTube. And I almost threw the phone. I was like, okay, this is spooky. And then I kept hearing, because this is what I do, right? I kept hearing, you need to reach out to my family. You need to reach out to my family. And I'm like, this is insane. I was like, I haven't seen his family since 1990. Like, I was like, I'm gonna look like a freaking nutcase. And then I kept saying, when I go to New York, I'm gonna go to his neighborhood so I can remember like the area, so I can write about it. And just so you know, this was a little fun fact. The house that I used to hang out in was um, where Fat Joe lived. And I knew Fat Joe as Joey. He probably don't remember me now, but I knew him as when he was just Joey. So that whole neighborhood, whatever, I was always over there. And so I was like, I'm gonna go back to that neighborhood, but I didn't remember where the guy lived. And the first letter I opened up, when I looked at all his letters, had his mother's name, the address. It was inside. He was like, "Oh, can you bring this to my mother?" Or something he wanted me to do for his mother. And I was just like, "Okay, he's helping me from above. This something's too spooky." So then I said, I gotta I gotta reach out to his mother. So I ended up finding the mother's email somehow. I'm a detective, and I found out the mother passed away. However, the niece, no, the grandbaby, responded to me, and then got me in contact with her mother, who was his sister, and then I reunited with them, and then I told them stories about the whole story, and they were so happy. I mean, she was so happy to reunite with me, and it just was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm gonna write the book about you. Okay, got the message. Oh, wait, I know I should tell you this. Is this gonna be too spooky for your show? Telling you about dead people? Okay, so this is is what really sparked it. I should tell you this. Um, Before I started doing all of this back in 2007, when I first met my teacher, she read him, and she when she read him, she said, what did she say? She said, "Do you know Simone?" And he was like pissed off, and she was like, "Why?" He was like, "Yeah, I know Simone. She don't never come visit me." And she said, "Baby, you're dead." And he was like, "I'm not dead." She saw him in the hospital, and I didn't tell her anything. I didn't tell her how he died. He actually died of an overdose. And I didn't tell her anything. So for her to know that he was in a hospital, that he still thought he was in a hospital. So to be honest, that's my concept of like hell. Like your hell is not fire and brimstone. He thought that he was alone in the hospital. So that was his own personal hell, so to speak. So she had to cross him over. But it blew my mind that he still thought he was in the hospital, and it was years later. So he died in 1993. This is 2007. We're doing a reading. Yeah. So yeah, that made me say, yeah, it was spooky. But I told his sister, like I told his sister, and she believed it. She was like, yeah, because a lot of people didn't dream him. And I don't know if you know the concept of like when people die, usually they'll visit you in the dream after to like say, I'm good. Have you ever had that happen when somebody died and you dream them?
I I don't know because sometimes I don't. I know they say sometimes you don't remember your dreams.
Right.
And the funny thing is that when my father passed away, I was kind of anticipating it because he was the first one in my immediate family that passed away. So I was kind of expecting it. But as far as like I said, I don't remember if it ever happened. Then
You don't
my
remember dreaming? Yeah.
but like I said, sometimes like I know that people say sometimes they don't remember their dreams. So I'm like
Right.
that's what I'm saying that it may have happened,
But
but
you just don't remember. But that's usually a telltale sign that the person is is at peace, that they crossed over and they, versus like I haven't heard, I didn't feel anything, I don't see anything. So a lot of people, like I've had that with clients where they'll say, "Oh yeah, I saw him in a dream or he came to visit me." A lot of times, I see my mother, but I don't see her face. I'll feel her next to me in the car, or I'll see her in the kitchen. But it's kind of like a warm, familiar feeling, nothing spooky or anything like that.
yeah.
But anyway, that's what really made me say I got to do a whole book about this because the way he died, that's a whole. I don't want to tell too much; it's too long of a story. But basically, the way he died, I think the story we heard was not the story was with really how he really died. So I think that's a part of what came together when I reunited with his sister. A lot of stuff came up, and I was like, okay, I think I need to write a book about this. So yeah, it's gonna be, but it's a fun book though. I'm gonna be honest. Like I have right now beta readers reading it, and it's like action packed. It's like teenager, doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, cutting school, and and he was literally my first and only real bad boyfriend, that used to come to my house with a gun. Hold this, babe. Hold this, boo. Put in your Louis Vuitton. But yeah, so I'm enjoying writing it. So that it's gonna be a part of a series. Not He's not the only story, but it'll be different stories in the book. But that's what I'm working on right now. But like I said, all my books have a supernatural element to it. So
So speaking of well with intuition, like I know like people are always like dwelling on the positive and anything that's going to help people. But what about if it's not in a positive mindset? What if it's something that is, um, I mean, negative or something that I think there was somebody that told me before that I think maybe tarot cards and things of that nature, and there's some type of like I don't want to say code, but something where it's like you're not really supposed to say anything that's bad, so to speak, unless you ask specifically for it or something along those lines.
well. I mean, me personally, the way I do readings, I don't like people say I have people trying to find out when somebody's gonna die. I don't do that. I don't predict that or like, and it's not usually in a negative per se way. Like I want him to die. It's more of somebody that's taking care of somebody that's like
Yeah,
holding on and they're struggling and they're like, when is this gonna be over? When are they gonna be out of the pain? Like I don't usually do that. And I'm not going to tell you how old you are. And I mean, not saying I could always get the answer. I always tell people I'm not God.
you got
But
2 minutes. Get out of here. I'll let me stop. I'm sorry. Please
oh
forgive me.
shit.
Sorry, go ahead.
But what I usually do, if it unless it's really really if I really feel they're in danger, like let's say they say should I stay with him, my boyfriend that keeps beating my ass every day, um, if I see, I'm being a little callous there, but if I see them in danger, I will tell them, there's that guy is dark. You need to get out of this situation. You know what I mean? But 9 times out of 10, I'll say, look, these are the options I see. If you stay with him, this is what's gonna happen. If you don't stay with him, this is what's gonna happen. So that you can make your own decision. You have free will. You know what I mean? But 9 times out of 10, I'd be right. And then they'll call me like, oh, I should have listened to you because you didn't. And I'm like, yeah. Because like I said, I give them homework. I don't just give you a reading. I might say, hey, you need to do this meditation. Here, read this book. You need to journal every day. I'll give them things to do to work on themselves because a lot of times you can make your own decisions. You don't need to go to a psychic or go to somebody else. But if you don't take time to go within, you ain't gonna get the message. You know what I mean? So
It's funny because I'm an admitted skeptic.
oh, it's okay.
No. I'm just saying, just in general, as
I
far as
love y'all.
everything. Well, no, that's what I was say because, but the thing is, if somebody's coming to you, even if they're skeptical, they really can't be because they're coming to you. That's how I see it. And the reason why I bring that up is because um, somebody may suggest you to somebody who might be a skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I just got a flashback. I got to tell you that story. Go ahead.
and how do you deal with that? Because, like I said, like I'm everyone who knows me knows I'm the skeptical because I grew up in the Bronx. I mean, you know, uh,
I was a skeptic of all the shit that I do now too. Trust me and believe it.
but the thing is, people look at skepticism as being negative. I really don't. There's just some things that either I don't believe or I don't vibe with. I might
Right,
be skeptical of, but that doesn't mean I'm seeing it in a negative light.
right, right.
And that's the reason I'm asking as far as like when you do encounter or I'm pretty sure there's somebody that's like, oh, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other.
I'm gonna tell you a story right now. Go ahead. So I have a classmate. So this is the thing that the skeptics, a lot of them are people that grew up with me. So if you know the fun, silly Simone, you're like, yeah, right. Simone can meditate. She can shut up. She knows how to read. You give me a break. Yeah, right. Like so, people they don't believe it. But then, funny enough, most of my clients that got me a lot of business were my high school classmates. So it would be one friend tell another friend, and they'd be like, yo, Simone ain't know about that. I didn't tell her this. I never posted on Facebook. She couldn't have Googled that. So one of my classmates, his dad died recently, and his ex-girlfriend, who's a good friend of mine, she was like, girl, she was like, you need to get a reading with Simone. You could talk to your dad. You could talk, and he was just like, yeah, right. What is this crap? Sure, whatever. Simone's going to talk to my dad. Sure. So I ended up doing a reading with him, and he was skeptical very, very skeptical at first, and then I started to see, this is how I'll see it. I won't always see it like direct, like how it comes through. It'll be like symbolic. So I saw Barbie Corvettes. I used to love Corvettes, the Barbie Corvette, as a kid, and I kept seeing Corvette, baby, like Barbie Corvettes, and I was like, did your dad drive a Corvette? And he was just like, he's like, my dad had two Corvettes. And I was like, yeah, he's showing me his cars. And like, I'll get like little hits like that that's something there's no way I could have freaking known that'll make them relax and be like, okay, she must. Then he was like this. Then he started sitting back like, oh shit. And he started listening. And I'll give you one more story. And now he's a believer. He done sent the wife, his sister-in-law, the whole family done got readings already. So then another story, and this is a celebrity. I wonder if I should say his name. It's not him. It's his friends. I'll say his name. It was Common, but it was his friends that they did an event for him in Miami. I was like, it was like a retreat. And a lot of his friends were like, yeah, whatever. What is this BS? Because his friends are the intellectuals, honey. They were all doctors and, they weren't no rappers, not rapper friends. And one of his friends came in the room and he was just like, he came like this, like, all right, what is this? Because I think they treated them to the services. It was Reiki and readings. And the first thing I told him was, there's two boys, and you're going through a life transition. I was like, there's something with two boys. And then he just sunk in his chair, like, because he's going through divorce and he had two sons. So all I need is like two little things. And once you let me in, then it's guns a blazing. So that's why I said, like, it's little things that I'll get, and all I do is I write down your first name, last name, age, and city, and I meditate and I just write down whatever comes to me, and then we just start going through your questions. But so I'll give you a mini reading for free. Big said, not on air, but we'll do it one day so you can stop being a skeptic.
I'm gonna die a skeptic.
And I charge a lot, so you lucky I'm giving you for free.
I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna read your chakras and tell you what you need to do.
I may end up reading you.
Whatever.
Damn, it's already been like
What
that.
else?
Actually, you know what? Like I said,
We answered everything. I answered all my questions.
no.
I didn't? Oh.
Why so many people feel disconnected right now?
Why do so many people feel what?
Disconnected.
We're too distracted. Um, you wake up with your Instagram in your face. You're falling asleep with the crime show on. You're looking at reality TV all day. You don't make that connection with yourself every day. So that's the biggest problem. And I could tell by the second I get on the phone with some people that they don't tap into themselves. And they were, I don't have time. I don't have time to meditate. That's the excuse I hear all the time. You can meditate walking to the train. You can meditate in the shower. It doesn't have to be sitting on top of a mountaintop listening to Tibetan bells. You could just take deep breaths. This is something I teach people. Just take in through your nose, out your mouth. Do that 5 times. That's a little mini meditation right there. But yeah, we're too distracted in the society. You know, like remember back in the day, we didn't have all this stuff. We didn't have a computer in our pocket.
I was just about to say that because like we grew up with I would say we grew up with really nothing, but compared to our parents, they grew up with nothing.
Right,
But
right.
you know, like my niece, like she probably got a phone when she was like 2 months old. Well, not 2 months old, but I'm just saying. So it's like when people feel like that's how their life is or was because that's all they know, like as opposed to even our parents, grandparents, definitely our ancestors. I said it like anchovies, but ancestors. But I guess I think that my not my theory, but I think because as society grows, like there's so many other distractions because it's like because of modern technology.
Information overload, man.
Yeah,
Remember back in the day, we'd be so excited to get one email. Oh, I got an email. And now
you,
it's like,
you had to wait 20 minutes to get online.
yeah, that part. We'd be so excited to get one email. No, it's so funny. I saw a video the other day that had me cracking. It was a comedian. I don't remember his name now. And he's talking about mindfulness. And he said, yeah, mindfulness. We had mindfulness back in the 80s. You know, mindfulness was we'd be looking at the water drip on the bus while we're waiting at, sitting on the bus looking at the water drip. Or like, waiting at the bus stop or, waiting to make a phone call. There was so many things we had to wait for. We had patience. Now we want everything right away, So yeah, we knew what mindfulness was back then. Yeah. But I just tell people it's in order to start the process of connecting with yourself, just carve out 5 minutes a day. Start with that. And then maybe work your way up to 15 to 20. But yeah, I would say try to cut out some of the
Noise.
distractions. Yeah.
You know? Well, for anybody that wants to, I guess, get in contact with you, to figure out, if they want to talk to you or utilize your services, how can they? Actually, I should have had that, so that way I can put it on the screen. My apologies.
It's okay. You can just go to ownyourpower.biz, OWNYOURPOWER.biz. Because whenever I say own your power, people think I'm saying on your power. So I don't know if it's the New York accent. Ownyourpower.biz, and you can go to the Work With Me page and you can learn more about all of my services. And that's pretty much the best way to reach me. And on Instagram, I'm Own Your Power as well. And yeah, if you join my mailing list, you'll get invited to anything that I'm doing online. And then when I come back to the States, I'm sure I'm going to do like a book signing or do something. So
actually, you know what? In fact, let me end with that because you're from the Bronx, then you moved to Atlanta, which is like the second Bronx, and now you're in Costa Rica. Like, why? And I'm not saying why like it's a bad thing, but
I know.
I'm always curious to look up, like,
My intuition led me here. And I'm not even kidding. I had anxiety like up to the roof in July when they kept talking about the big beautiful bill. That started it. And then I started seeing people getting kidnapped. And that was traumatizing for me. And I didn't know it was gonna get as bad as it is now, but I just knew I had to get the hell out of there. I had to get the hell out of America. That was it. And then the second I said I want to go, everything started lining up. That's why I said when you're tapped into your intuition, you manifest things so much faster. July I made the decision. I found my hotel to stay in. September I got my I came and checked it out for 5 days, got my apartment, moved in November. And I'm here and I love it. And I feel so much less stressed. Like my shoulders dropped. I feel like, happier. I was always happy, but
I've never been to Costa Rica. I have to visit.
it's beautiful. I'm on the Caribbean side, so the food is better over here.
I've never been to any Rica except for
You haven't been to Puerto Rico?
in the Bronx, but not the real.
Puerto Rico. Oh,
If you know the Bronx, that's Puerto Rico.
that's Puerto Rico for sure, and Jamaica.
Yeah. Jamaica and Puerto Rico, all within like certain areas of the Bronx.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it to disparage if anybody's listening, because I love my peoples just in general. But I'm always going to tease Puerto Rican because that's all. Actually, coming up, most of the women I dated were Puerto Rican.
Most of the guys I dated were, no, they were usually like black. Well, now we call it what Afro
Latino.
Latino. Yeah, but they would be like, oh, my father's Puerto Rican, and my father's Puerto Rican, my mother's black, and then they never spoke a lick of freaking Spanish, but they look Spanish or like a dark skinned Spanish. But yeah.
Some Puerto Rican women, they loved me, growing up.
And then all my friends, I had like my close friends are Dominican, so when I had my straight hair, I would fit in. They thought I was Dominican.
You know what? And that's another thing. People think like no one thinks I'm black. I'm either Dominican or Trinidad. I'm anything.
I have a Dominican face.
Depending on who I speak to, like my cousin used to live in Washington Heights.
Oh yeah.
So every time I go, they start speaking Spanish. I'm like, oh. So I mean, I would get Dominican the most, especially during that time. And I think it has something to do with my hair as well because you can't see that.
You used to have didn't you have fluffy hair, curly hair? Yeah.
Yeah, my hair is curly, and it's like they're looking at me like you can't be black.
Like you black. They black too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I would get like I get all types of islands, and I'm like, I'm from the Bronx. My parents are from the South. I mean, what can I say? I'm like, I don't know.
We all won. We all won.
At
the end of the day.
I got a little Indian in me too, so
Oh, brother, give me a break.
That's the truth, though. My family side.
Yeah, I don't. You did the ancestry.com to check.
No, I never did.
They be lying. Them parents be lying. I thought we had Chinese in us and Indian. I heard all kind of stuff. Then when I did my ancestry, it's more white than anything, but it's African. It's Nigerian.
Well, I remember my grandmother telling us. It was my grandfather telling us like which tribe, and this was
wow
when we were young, but like maybe like 2 or 3 generations removed, but still there. But I just like, of course, they passed 80 years ago, and yeah, I guess I can ask my uncle, and I don't think about it. I'm like, I'm black, so But I wish I had known, like, when they said that Native Americans go to school for free, then I would have taken it. I would have found out every tribe, everything that had anything to do with anything, and I would have memorized names, numbers, social securities, land, all of that. But it is what it is. But I'm proud to be a New Yorker.
Yes.
Do it all in all, a New Yorker. But I do appreciate you coming on and having this time with me. And
thanks for having me. I hope I didn't spook out your audience.
They'll deal with it. It is what it is, So anybody who knows me knows. I mean, they question me sometimes. They question my thinking. So not on that level, but just in general. So,
right.
that they would probably expect anything out of me anyway. So
Right.
if you cool with me, they cool with
Well,
So,
thank you.
you
I got the big said pass.
do you have anything coming up? I know you just ended the retreat. Do you have anything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just finished up my first retreat in Costa Rica. I have another retreat coming up in June. That's already sold out, and then I'm gonna be doing another one June 25th. If anybody's interested in that, definitely hit me up. The sale page isn't even up yet, but I'm gonna be putting that up shortly. And I'm also teaching Discover Your Intuition February 16th. It's a 4-week class. I'll be doing online. That is actually, and I have a special happening right now. So um, I think it's over it's over tomorrow. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the second. So that class actually helps you really develop your intuition, the basics. We go into breath work. We do meditation. Make sure I don't forget all the different things. It's a lot of stuff. I can
Well,
just
just
tell you.
give me information because, like, this is live now, but then when I repost it, then I
Okay,
got.
I'll send it to you. I teach them about chakras. I teach you how to identify your intuitive triggers, and we actually practice with people that are my friends and clients. That you want to be a guinea pig, Seth?
I might
Oh,
start.
that'll be fun. We're gonna call you. We're gonna call you. Yeah, it's not like a full blown reading. It's just basic stuff that they have to guess. But yeah, that's gonna make you a believer.
Or they might be like, there's something wrong.
No,
Nah, that's
yeah.
too dark. No, I can't disclose it. I just
They'll be like, get me
wrong
that.
with me.
Let me get bleach for my eyes.
Have them running out like, no, no.
Yeah, but that's pretty much. I'm working on another class, and then I have a lot of classes coming up. So definitely, just go to my website to learn more. Join my mailing list, and follow me on Instagram at Own Your Power, and you'll find out more. But thank you, Sed, for having me.
Actually, you know what? I do want to do it. Yeah.
You was already going to do it. I already know. We put you on the list. The guinea pigs. That's what I call it. It's fun. Like I'll just tell you what they do. Basically, in one of the exercises, they get your first name, last name, age, and city, and they don't know nothing about you, and they have to like read your energy. So they'll be like, oh, he's really fun. I think he's a writer. Like they'll guess basic stuff. They might guess what you look like. They might guess what color you have on. And then when we bring you onto the Zoom, and then you just confirm what they got right. And half the time they blow me away because there's stuff that they'll find out that I didn't even know about my friend, or and it helps them really boost their confidence because they're like, wow, if I could do that from just a few minutes of meditation, I can take over the world.
Hopefully there'll be a rich woman that wants me, and I'll be like, okay, now let me stop.
Oh God, such an Aries man.
Hey,
All right, said.
next month is out. Well, you in March or April, Aries?
I'm before you. You're March 30th, right? Or 31st. When's your birthday?
28th.
28th? I'm the 26th.
Okay. So like I said, next month everything, is it'll be what it's supposed to be. Our birthday months. So but thank you once again. I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time and your words and your thoughts, and we'll definitely speak. And for everyone that's stayed until the end, thank you. This is Big Said from the Industry Cosign. My friends are better than yours. And if you think that I'm wrong, show me your friends, and either they know me or I'll prove you wrong. Until
Okay.
next time, Big Said, Coach Simone
Bye.
Kelly. And then, yeah, that's it.